I'm going to be checking the news. I'm going to be working out exactly what's going on with my current trades. I'm going to be looking for new trades. And I'm going to be deciding really what to do. Most of all, managing my capital to make sure that I am protected on the trades that I'm in. So let's crack on. So let's just get rid of that video of me. You don't want to see that. Image, chart big, there we go. Right, so if we look on here, okay, so in Bloomberg is free if you don't look at too many pieces of news, too many articles. So Powell vows for Fed not done hiking the interest rates, you see, and this was because yesterday we had the FOMC statement. However, markets rallied anyway. You see, and they did. And I jumped on. I didn't do a live just simply because it's not really a planned trade, but I did jump on with a number of trades actually last night and closed them out about 10 o'clock UK time last night with some nice profits. So I think in the previous video, I was explaining about Palladium. So Palladium, now I've done very well with Palladium recently. Now, what's happened with Palladium? Obviously, I placed a number of trades on here. I basically bought and sold as we went through the week, last week and the week before. So I would sort of get in on the way down here and then get out up here, basically. And what I'm doing is placing smaller trades at the top than I'm putting at the bottom. Now, at the moment, the only next spot for me, once I'm out of all of these trades, I'm out of a couple of them after last night. So I've got to wait for Palladium to increase a bit higher before I can get out of all of them. But Palladium moves very, very quickly. So it's good to sort of keep an eye on that. But what I'm doing here really is just placing the orders below the current price. Simple as that. On certain levels. So you can see the certain levels I have here. So it's really 1725. I mean, obviously the price at the moment is that's a negative. That's in negative. That particular trade at the moment. This trade is in a slight negative, and this trade is in about break even, and then this trade is in a large amount of profit. But there's another one as well, which I got in lower, which is in a lot of profit. You see, so the lot of profit here down at the bottom is basically balancing out the little bits at the top. And the reason I put the ones on the top, because if it does come down, like here for example, if it come down, got me in the trade here and gone up, then I've got a little trade. It's not big, but it's little. So I'm wanting the price to come down on my buy trades, you see. So anyway, that's what I've done with Palladium. Now I'm just waiting for it to increase probably till up to about 1695-ish. And then I can get out of all the trades with a large amount of profit. Now, yesterday, obviously, with a FOMC statement, which I just mentioned, gold is flying. I jumped on here. I got out here last night. So, it was a good little bit of a quick scalping profit. And then same with silver. I did the same with silver as well. I saw the momentum and I jumped on because I was waiting for the price to come down, really. But it didn't. It went the other way. And the dollar came down instead. So you see the dollar has dropped so much. This is the dollar index. Now, it's starting to pull back a bit now. So maybe we get a pullback on gold and we can get back in. Same with silver. But the one I'm particularly interested in at the moment is natural gas. Now, let's zoom out and look at what's happened to natural gas over the last few weeks. It's absolutely dropped like a stone. It's fallen off the edge of the cliff, as they say. Now, it's a short way down. Yeah, obviously shorting natural gas at this time would have been good. But we have to look at what's actually going on in the world. And, if we're talking about natural gas in the Northern Hemisphere, then we might have another cold snap coming up in February. And if the world has a cold snap, or if the US and the UK and Europe have a cold snap, we have snow, etc., which is potentially forecast, then there's a possibility that this natural gas combined, this massive price drop here, combined with the fact that we are potentially going to cold snap, then the natural gas could rise considerably, and it's one of those commodities really that does move pretty quickly, very quickly, in fact. Okay, so another one that I'm in at the moment is Tesla. Now, I got into Tesla again around about here, so I'm in profit. Tesla. Now, this was off the back of the FOMC statement as well. So I'm currently waiting on Tesla to open in 1 hour's time for pre-market trading. So we'll see what happens there. It'll probably gap up a little bit, maybe, because there was a lot of momentum yesterday. So that's good. Oil. Now, oil is looking like a buy coming up soon. But we need to look at the fundamentals of oil, because I think there's an OPEC meeting coming up. Let's have a look. I mean, we've got a lot of news in the US tomorrow. But in terms of natural gas storage here, so it's not a red one. It might affect the natural gas price. So that's 3:30 UK time today. But I'm looking at the fact that natural gas is very low at the moment. It's very cheap. And when it's cheap, there's buyers, because everyone wants a bargain. You look at it like that, supply and demand, and there's going to be a lot of demand for natural gas coming up potentially. So let's look at the weather forecast for the next 2 weeks in the US. Okay, it's New York. Okay, it doesn't look that cold. I mean, New York is the one to watch. I mean, there is talk about the beast from the east returning under another name, I expect, in the UK. So, anyway, back to the news. I mean, really, natural gas storage this afternoon. Look at the chart. It's very low. That's obviously the weather will affect oil as well, actually. But look how low it is. At some point it's going to come back up. It's going to come back up a bit. So I'm watching this. I'm getting ready with natural gas until we see some sort of clear indication Tesla I've already mentioned. So let's have another look at some other stocks. It's Coinbase, yeah. Coinbase is absolutely flying. So yeah, I'm in Coinbase. This is flying. Tesla. SpaceX. So I'm nearly back up at break even on Virgin Galactic Holdings. Okay, now when I'm buying these stocks, I'm literally buying the stocks, low price, and I'm waiting for them to go into profit. Meta, I mean, again, you know, a lot of bad press about Meta recently. This is why it dropped so far. And I didn't buy any, but you look at it, and it's bound to come back up. You know, Google. And Google's not a bad spot, really, because Google is quite low. Or is it? I mean, if you look at, it all depends how you stretch the chart out, really, but I like to look at these stocks on a weekly basis, and you look at there, and it's not really that low, to be honest, for Google. I mean, it's broken the 200 weekly moving average. So, but it's back up above it now. Okay. Apple. Again, Apple's had some good weeks. However, it could drop. UPS. Thermo Fisher. PayPal. I like the fact it's dropped this far. I don't like it if you're in PayPal already, but from a trader's point of view, that's what we want to see. We want to see big drops, and then we can buy. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's dropped a lot. So PayPal is something on my radar. Okay. Netflix. Okay. I put a buy in there. I didn't. I wasn't convinced, but I was wrong. Because you look at what it has done. Amazon. So let's have a zoom out on the weekly chart. The other indicator actually I do use for stocks is the relative strength indicator. So if you remember before in one of my previous videos, this is how I got into Tesla. This is how it got me interested in Tesla. Again, because the relative strength indicator down here was in the 30% zone. Okay, and there's a little hook forming. So when I actually decided to buy Tesla, we were here. So I had this little hook at the bottom, you see? It's like a little fish hook coming up. So I bought here. Excuse that clicking, that's my radiator over there. Very noisy. Okay, so that's Tesla. Okay, so Virgin Galactic, that was a nice little one in there as well. A nice little hook. I missed that, even though I'm already in it. Meta, you see, you've got a hook here, but then it's dropped further. Google, Apple, UPS, TMO, PayPal. Okay, so because I mean, PayPal on the chart was looking quite nice for me, but because it's not in that zone, and we haven't got a nice little hook, I'm not really interested. Netflix, yep, back in June, last time we saw the hook. Amazon, Starbucks. Okay, so FTSE, I am waiting on the FTSE to get up to the top and be in this 30% zone here. And then once it is, I'm going to look at shorting the hell out of it. Because I'm in the FTSE. I work with a very nice chap who does actually trade a lot on the FTSE, and he's designed a strategy on the FTSE. I think he said he's done 28% last year, just trading the FTSE. Very good. I can show you what his strategy is, but I need to get his approval first, obviously. But personally, if you message me, then I can give you a hand with that. I'm sure you won't mind. Right, so EMR, that was in the hook a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so there's no stocks apart from the Tesla that I did jump in on. Again, so there's lots of different ways of trading, as we know. However, what I've done with the Tesla, I mean, we're still pretty low, and I've made profits on the Tesla up here. So what I've got is a stop loss on Tesla, which is the profits I made before. So I'm in quite a big chunk of profit that I made last week on Tesla. So what I'm doing there is having my stop loss at the position of that. So in other words, if the Tesla goes back down and it stops me out, I make that loss, I'm back to break even. On the other hand, it's more likely it'll go up higher. See, and then I'll gradually lock in the profits as we go up. But I want to see a bit more profit there. So Coinbase is the other one, obviously, as well. It's too late to get into Coinbase, but that's based on crypto, and Bitcoin is, well, it was flying. It's a bit stagnated at the moment, ranging, not really moving. So we might see a pullback down here, and then maybe a flat period, and then back up there, and then suddenly it's going to break out. Which way is it going to break out? Who knows? We never know. But again, it was so low, and if you got in back down here in the low period, then personally, I didn't buy any more crypto. I just didn't really feel like it. But you can see the crypto has done pretty well, very well, over the last few months. But it's risky. At the end of the day, and this is Ethereum against Bitcoin. So I do like this chart, because when you think about it, if you own Bitcoin and you own Ethereum, so you want to really be in Ethereum rather than Bitcoin, or you want it to be in Ethereum rather than Bitcoin. And look at the big rally here. So what we'll do is potentially, when I see a bit of a pause on this chart, I will potentially sell my Ethereum for Bitcoin, and then we might see a pullback, and then I'll buy the Ethereum with the Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So I'm going to make a point of this chart because there's a possibility it'll sort of come up a bit higher, and then it'll come down here. So here's where I want to sell my Ethereum for Bitcoin at the top, and then I'm going to rebuy it down here. Okay. So that is really what I'm in at the moment. This is what I'm doing. Yeah, so we're seeing a bit of a pullback on gold, I think, forming maybe. I mean, you look at these bars here tell me that we're going to see a bit of a drop. Where we see a drop to, who knows? But technically, we're going to see a bit of a sell-off in time for the non-farm payroll tomorrow. So this is the news tomorrow. We have a lot of news. This is why my gold trading bots, are off at the moment. Now I switched them off on Tuesday this week. Well, I had them on Monday. It's January. Okay, so this is last week, and you can see right. So I had my gold bot trading. I had it off at this period here on Friday last week. I switched it back on after the news. So it's probably about 3 o'clock UK time. I switched it back on. And then it was obviously on open. US open this is. And then when the gold market opened. And then it traded all the way through here. And then I turned it off in the morning of Tuesday this week. Now, a couple of my students who have got bots actually did trade through this. I wouldn't advise it. But it didn't really move the market so much. So they were fine. They made quite a bit of profit, actually. The bot made them quite a bit of profit through this news. But it's not recommended to trade through the news. So anyway, mine was off. I turned my big accounts with the bot on it off on the Monday evening for safety measures. I left the smaller account running overnight to get some more profits, and then obviously it got out of the trades in the morning at around 10 o'clock I think it was. And then it's been off ever since. I'm not going to switch on today. I've got a little window here, but what if I get into trades and by tomorrow we've got non-farm payroll and average hourly earnings and unemployment rate and ISM services PMI. So this is red news that potentially could push gold up or down or keep it the same. So it's going to do one of those three things. So what we've got to do is make sure the bots are off before that period, before that news, to allow the markets to breathe and do what it needs to do, get to where it's going to go, and then we switch it back on again. So I will probably be switching the bot back on, probably when it's settled down, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. I'll look at the charts. 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, evening in the UK. I will then switch it back on, and then it'll run up there. And then next week we have a funding week for the bot traders. Now the VIP bot traders on gold, they are funding their accounts with real money on Monday. Well, they're funding it this week actually, ready for Monday to switch the bot on Monday. Because the reason we choose these funding weeks here at Samurai Capital is because we do have a bit of a run. But I've just seen Fed Chair Powell speaks. That's new. That's new bit of news because that wasn't in there last week when I decided this funding week. Okay, so anyway, the bot has to stay off really until after that speech. Okay, that's interesting because that definitely wasn't there. So that is 5 p.m. So that must be a new bit of news that's come in. See, this is why you've got to be keeping on top of the news all the time. 5 p.m. Tuesday, 7th Feb. Red. Okay. So it wasn't until 3 p.m. on the Friday, on February the 10th, that we actually had some news. So what we have to do is literally, it might be better to switch it on Friday evening, so that it's on Sunday night, so it runs, makes some profits, and then you aim to get off, turn it off on the Monday, ready for the Tuesday. Okay, so we're going to have to manage this bot, and then we just switch it back on again after the news. The key is to get out the trades, make sure that the bot has completed its cycles and completed its profit making. So if you do want to know anything else about these bots, these trading bots, send me a message or comment below. So good stuff. Well, I'm off to the gym. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.